So, welcome back to the Raider D podcast, everybody. I am your host, the Raider D. You know how we do this, Raiders. I got my man in the house, Western Conference, special guest today, and we are going to be talking about a house divided and what's going on with Tom Telesco and Coach Antonio Pierce having a bit of a disagreement in what we should do in this year's draft. And so there's an article out by the Gridiron, and the author of it is Jordan Siegler. And so he's basically saying that, according to insider reports, there is a bit of a disagreement in the draft meetings between Tom Telesco, GM, and head coach Antonio Pierce and what they're going to do. Now, we know that some news broke that Mark Davis gave the green light for that team to go ahead and move up in the draft and grab our guy if that's gonna be possible. But it seems like Tom Telesco is pretty confident in Aiden O'Connell, according to this report, and thinks that we should move forward with him as QB1, and we should fill other needs in the draft and not sell the farm. And AP wants to be aggressive and get Jaden Daniels. Now, with that, there's another little caveat that a report has come out that the interviews with Jaden Daniels and Washington have not gone well. There is some friction there. Apparently, the new GM over there came from Frisco, and he made a comment in front of Brandon Ayuk, who is friends with Jaden Daniels, that Jaden Daniels is overhyped and will never be successful in the NFL. Well, now this is the dude who might potentially draft him. And so I don't know, maybe Jaden Daniels is playing hard to get with the Commanders because he doesn't want to go there because he doesn't like that guy, or if it's just, you know what, I want to go to the Raiders. And he's made that very obvious. So maybe he intentionally tanks these interviews. So we're going to get into all that and more. So make sure that you guys you know what to do. Hit those like buttons. Share this out with all of your friends and family who are part and lovers of the Raider Nation. And let's get it going, man. So got Western Conference in the house. You've seen the article, my brother. What did you think about this article and the division between Coach Antonio Pierce and Tom Telesco? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, brother. So when I first saw that, man, that tells me if Mr. Tom Telesco wants to go with AOC going forward, that my biggest hunch on that tells me that we're going to go either O-line or corner, but most likely O-line. And Mr. Antonio Pierce, that tells me that he wants to get really, really aggressive and get his guy. He's going to go up and get Jaden Daniels, which that's where I believe that they have a difference of opinions going forward in this draft. But me, honestly, if we had to swing for the fences to go get Jaden Daniels to get our franchise quarterback, why not do it? Don't be scared. I know that there's a lot of people in the Raider Nation. They're like, oh, we shouldn't trade that much of an investment and assets to get Jaden Daniels because it could set us back, which I completely understand. But I just personally feel like he's a guy that you cannot strike out on, and he wouldn't hinder us at all. And that's just how I feel. But something tells me that if we don't trade up, then we're going to get O-line or cornerback for sure.
Yeah, and I think, when it comes down to these two different personalities, and they are very, very different in the regards of, Antonio Pierce is flamboyant. He is very outspoken. He is a leader, a vocal leader, and he just exudes confidence even when, people are giving him little slights in the media and in their interviews with him. He's not worried about it at all. And then you go and you look at Tom Telesco. He's very reserved. He's very analytical. He's very methodical. And he's also very careful.
Yeah.
And I think this is why Mark Davis brought in Tom Telesco, because you have a coach that wants to go 110 miles an hour. and he's never done it before. So it's like putting a 16-year-old in the seat of a Ferrari,
Good
and
enough.
then just and not putting a limiter on him. Well, I think
Yeah.
Tom Telesco is that limiter on him,
Mm,
the voice of reason in the room, and ultimately it's gonna be up to Tom Telesco as the GM. Um, I think that Antonio Pierce is letting it be known. This is what I want. This is what
yeah.
I think is going to be the most successful for us.
Right.
But Tom Telesco has to look at it from, you know, in order for us to move up, it's going to cost a lot of future picks.
Right.
And we need those picks to continuously get better and younger, which is what you need to do. And I think it's pretty telling that Tom Telesco, according to this report in the Gridiron, is confident in AOC, maybe more confident in AOC than Antonio Pierce is. I always
Yeah.
thought it would be the opposite. I
The
thought
opposite. Yeah.
I thought Antonio Pierce really has a lot of confidence in him. But I get it. You have a possibility of getting the Heisman Trophy winner who you helped
Yeah.
recruit to Arizona State. You already have a relationship with, and the
Mm.
dude is. I mean, his jerseys would sell out overnight
It would sell
with the
like
Raider
hotcakes.
Nation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I think Mark Davis wants that. It's a good financial move for Mark Davis because he's going to make a lot of money off those jerseys.
Right. And Mark Davis told him too, like, hey, I give you my quote unquote blessings to go up and get your guy. So I'm sure once AP and Tom heard that, that's when they're like, all right, let's just go to the drawing board and let's see what we could do going forward. And then I'm sure that's where they have their difference of opinion to that pertaining to that.
Yeah, and I would love to be a fly on the wall and just
Yeah.
listen to these
Yeah.
conversations and these meetings that they're having. Um, there's been so much smoke, and I think that there is a way, a very brilliant way that you could get a Jaden Daniels. And I have a video, guys. It's going to be coming out here in a couple of days. We are putting a ton of editing into it because this is a big video. It's a big deal video, and so we're putting extra into it. So it should drop here in the next couple of days, just before draft. So you
Nice.
guys, I think that when you see this video, you'll be blown away, and I think that this has a real possibility of happening. Um, but I'm not gonna let too much out about it right now because again,
Yep.
it's pretty crazy. But we'll see. I'm excited for the draft.
Oh,
We
me too,
you know
brother.
we got what 10 days.
Yeah, we're so close, man. But it seems like as the draft is getting closer, the days are going by slower.
Yeah, man. I mean, for me, I was finishing up Ramadan, and then the whole getting a new truck thing and all of this stuff. So it's been kind of flying by pretty quickly, and I got to get ready for it because we're going to be live every day for the draft. Um, that's going to be our first live podcast for a draft, so we're going to see how well that goes. Hopefully all of you guys that are here right now will, if you are not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't subscribed to my man Western Conference, I don't know why not. I mean, what are you doing? He puts out awesome content, great breakdown, great analytics. Go and
Thank you.
watch his stuff and make sure that you hit those thumbs up for him and give him those subs.
And it's free,
Um,
guys. So I mean, what do you got to lose? And if you guys don't like it, then you could always unsub. So, but
I
just
don't know. I don't
check
know
it out.
anybody that would not like your content. I love it. I mean, the
Thank you,
breakdown
brother.
is awesome, spot on. You know what I mean? So
Man.
I think anybody that's not watching your content is missing out, bro.
Thank you, brother. I
Need to
really
go and check it out for real.
thank you, man.
Um, so yeah, me and Western Conference, we kind of started about the same time.
Mhm.
With our YouTube journey, and it's for both of us. It's been phenomenal. The
It's a
growth,
blessing.
seeing our videos. I remember when I would post a video and I would get like 20 views, and now I get videos that get thousands of views, and I'm just like blown away by it. Like That's really cool. And I know the same
It
thing for
is.
you is like it's just it's picking up steam. And it's
Yeah.
awesome. It's awesome.
And it's
Love the
great.
Raider Nation.
It's great because we're just doing what we love, and it's just a blessing to be just to talk about our favorite team. You know what I mean, and just share it how we feel with all you guys out there. So I would not be. I would rather be in no other place but here, sharing our info and our insight with the Raider Nation.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about favorite teams, guys, if you haven't gone and check out our channel sponsor, Earth Elixir, and get your natural supplements to help you raise your testosterone. I know most of my viewers are over the age of 30, and if you are, that means your testosterone is starting to go down, but it doesn't have to. You don't have to let that happen. There is proven, clinically proven natural supplements like the Tonkat Ali and the Fedosia agressus, which I personally use myself every single day. I take them in the morning and then I go do my workout. I feel great. I'm 46, feel like I'm 30. 15% off if you use the QR code or the link in the comments or the section. Great company. And as I've said 100 times, the owner is awesome. His name is Don. He will be on the show for the draft, and he is a lifelong Raiders fan as well. So, guys, go and check him out. And then just another little public service announcement. If you haven't gotten your Max Crosby poster yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and get that. Everything is on sale right now. And if you get 2 t-shirts and put in the promo code SHIELD, you will get the poster half off. So it's already on sale. You can then get another 50% off of the sale price. This is from our Black Rain official brand. It's our very own brand here at the Raider D podcast. So help support and get this thing up and going. Right now, we have the Max Crosby t-shirts and the posters. We have an AP poster and t-shirt that's going to be coming out soon, and we're just going to keep rolling these out. So help us grow this out. Go and get your posters. Go and get your t-shirts right now. So yeah, man, I think that who do you think is going to win in this division between Tom Telesco and Antonio Pierce as regards to, do you think that Tom Telesco will budge to AP's wishes and desires, or do you think it'll go the other way? Who do you think is going to be more dominant in that room?
In my honest opinion, just speaking on Tom's track record with his previous tenure with the Chargers, his track record's pretty good, man. And I love AP, but I honestly feel like if we cannot trade up to get Jaden Daniels, then I think Tom is going to be like, look, man, we can't get Jaden, so we're going to go with a O-line or corner. That's just how I feel. But I feel like Tom has more pull and more push than shove going into the draft because he's an experienced GM. And I'm not trying to disrespect AP or anything like that at all, but just go on Tom's track record. And he comes from the Bill Polian tree. He knows what he's doing, so I fully am in support of Tom. But hey, if we could try to trade up to get Jaden Daniels, then by all means necessary, pull that trigger and do it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because, Antonio Pierce is a very vocal guy. And when we got Jack Jones, he actually told that story on how that happened. He was told no originally. He was told no by Mark Davis and now I'm having a brain fart here. Our interim GM. Help me
Oh,
out.
um, I know who you're talking about. He
Chip
I can't think
Kelly.
of the name either.
Champ Kelly.
Yeah,
Champ
Tim
Kelly.
Kelly.
Champ
Yeah, he
Kelly.
was on the Bears. Yeah.
Yeah, Champ Kelly. They actually told AP no. They originally he went as soon as he hit waivers, he ran upstairs and he said, "Hey, we need Jack Jones. Get me Jack Jones." And they went to Mark, and Mark said, "No, I don't know. It's risky. The charge at the airport and behavioral issues. I don't know if that's something that you really want to do." And Champ was like, "Yeah, I agree. It's kind of risky taking and bringing him in." I mean, now, granted, remember that we had just let Marcus Peters go. We had just cut him,
Yeah.
right? So we needed a corner.
Absolutely.
And coach went downstairs. He went and did some more digging and went back up, and he was like, "Guys, you got to listen to me. I need this kid on my team. I need him now. You
Yeah.
have to just trust me on this. He's going to be fine. I'll take responsibility for him. Let me get Jack." And Jack Jones became a Raider, and we all know how that turned out, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. I
Thank you,
think that,
Peyton.
yeah, I think that Coach Antonio Pierce, if he really sets his mind to Jaden Daniels, and there's the slimmest possibility that it can happen with a trade with the Patriots, again, who I've been saying is the most likely one. Um, I think he's going to not take no for an answer. Is my
Yep.
opinion on that. Like he's gonna keep pushing it. Like I need Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels takes us over the hump. Now,
Yeah.
again, for me, I think Aiden O'Connell with this defense that we have, if we even, and I've been saying we need to add wide receivers because we
Yeah.
only have 5 wide receivers on the roster at this point. Only
Yeah.
3 of them are starters.
Yeah.
So that's a very thin wide receiver group.
Yeah.
Devontae goes down, Jacoby Myers goes down for any length of time, we're screwed.
Yeah. I agree.
So if you go and get Jaden Daniels, you're not getting any other talent because you're giving up, this year's first, probably this year's second. So you're waiting until the third round to grab some talent. And again, we need to address that O line. We need to address corner, though I do think Jacorian Bennett is going to take that next step. Granted, last year
Yeah.
he was a rookie, but the dude is phenomenally fast. So it's hard for receivers to burn him as
Yeah.
long as he is on point with his coverage.
Right.
Then he's got the speed, and he's got the speed to bait quarterbacks too. That's what I love about it. Jack Jones has deceptive speed, and he baits quarterbacks. He did that to Patrick Mahomes. That was a pure bait move. He knew
Yeah.
the route ahead of time. He just like he did with LA. He knew the route. He knew it was going to be a stop route right there, and he baited him and pulled off back and waited till that motion in the arm started, and he's like, "Okay, mine." I
Yeah.
love it,
Yeah.
man. I love that instinct with him. I think Jacorian Bennett can be that guy as well. But you
Absolutely.
do need, if you have the possibility of an upgrade like a Terrion Arnold,
Yeah.
you got to take it. You got to
Yeah.
take because that dude's athleticism is off the charts. He's a little bit raw, but you can coach into him. You know what I mean to take that
Absolutely.
next step.
Yeah. He is going to be a baller. He is going to be a baller.
So the question is then, okay, if we take if we pass on moving up, we're at pick 13 and we haven't grabbed a quarterback. We're going to go with Tom Telesco's feeling. Again, this is according to the Gridiron, uh, a leaked report. This is not my opinion, just their opinion, according to some insider sources, is that Tom Telesco is very confident in Aiden O'Connell. So we stick with Aiden O'Connell this year. If that's the game plan, in your opinion, what do we do at pick 13? Because for me, I think we trade back and grab more draft capital, and then address right tackle, corner,
Yeah.
wide receiver. But what would you do? Like you're on the clock. Western Conference is the GM. You're at pick 13. What do you do?
If Flaga's there at 13, then I'm grabbing him. But but if he's off the board, and if we could trade back to get more picks, then I'm all in for that as well. And then back to the whole thing with Tom and the AOC thing, they could be he could be doing like a pump fake to like all of us. You know what I mean? He could be, because it is lying season, and he could just be saying that. And then at 13, what if somehow we do get Penix Jr., you know what I mean, or something like that. But back to your question, I ain't trying to go off the like subject or anything like that. But for sure, if Flaga's there, then I'm going with him. And if he's not, then I'm going to trade back and get some more picks.
Yeah, I think that's the same thing. Like with me, Talisi Fuhaga is just he's a Raider. Like
Yeah.
that, he exudes what a Raider right tackle needs to be. He's mean, he's aggressive, super strong, and he loves to pancake people.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it would be a fantastic upgrade at right tackle to be able to bring him in, and then that way you can move Thayer Munford, in my opinion, to the position that he's actually good at, and that's right guard, not
Yeah.
right tackle. And then, like I said, you're at pick 44. You always have the option of trying to move back up if you
Yeah.
really like a guy like Terrion Arnold, and he's still on the board at, like, say, pick 22, pick 24, somewhere around there. Then you trade back up in and you grab him, and now you've solidified things. And to be honest, I think that's Tom Telesco's plan. I
Yeah.
think that is what he wants to do.
Yeah.
He wants to build the team and then still have draft picks for next year. And I totally agree with it. But man, would Jaden Daniels look good in silver and black?
He would, man. We will be a box office Hollywood hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you now, like you said, Aiden O'Connell, I think, can get us to the playoffs. Can he get us over the hump? I don't know. In a big game,
He
like
has
in,
the tools. He has the
he,
tools.
he does, but you know what I see, that my only issue with Aiden O'Connell, besides him not being very mobile, he can be, but not. I mean, he's not going to blow you away with athleticism. It's his mentality. He's got the nice guy mentality, and Coach AP even said this when they
Yeah.
said, "What one thing would you like to see Aiden O'Connell improve in the offseason?" And he said, "Be more vocal."
Yeah.
He's too quiet. He's as quiet as a church house mouse on the sidelines, and you can't do that. You got to have that killer Tom Brady instinct to be a champion. You've got to have that ability when your right tackle doesn't guard you and lets you get sacked over and over again, to straight up get in their face and cuss them out. You got to have that
Yeah.
fire in you.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning had that in him. Tom Brady had that in him. Joe Montana, Steve Young, Troy Aikman, they all had that fire in them that if you're not doing your job, I'm in your face.
Yeah.
And
But
Aiden
I'm
O'Connell doesn't have that right now.
but I think of a guy who's like kind of quiet and he doesn't talk as much. Eli, he wasn't like super like pushy, but he had that defense, man, and he cashed in. So
And Antonio Pierce even said that as much as he loves Peyton Manning, the defense won those Super Bowls.
yeah.
And he's not lying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. That whole D line, man, you had no time. you know?
Exactly. But you know what? We do have plenty of time for it, and that's for the 90 people in here right now to hit that like button and help us get this out to more people, and hit that share button and share it out to all your friends and family that are Raider Nation. Let's help
Absolutely.
get this live up to 100 likes. Can we get it up to 100 likes? We're at 24 right now. There's 80 plus people in here. I think if all of 80 plus people were to hit that like button right now, we would be over 80.
Hit
Pretty
that like
simple.
button, people. It's free.
It is free, but it is super beneficial to us
To
to help
you, to
grow this
us,
thing out.
Raider Nation, the whole algorithm. It just benefits in the long run.
So we got a bunch of people here in the chats. I see Raider Rebel in the house. Salute, brother. How are you
Salute, Raider
doing?
Rebel.
Cowtown Lunda is in here. Michael Avila is in here. Let's see. OIC is in the house. Who else we got? Raider Nation 510 is in the house. Matt's in the house. Jermaine Marshall's in the house. Shout out to all you guys.
Salute
Dodgers
to everybody.
everything. Let's see how I'm gonna get. I don't want to miss anybody. I'm gonna scroll back up in here. Tony in the house. Raiders Guru in the house. Lolo in the house. OG Silver and Black in the house. What is going on? What is good to all you guys in the house? So here's the deal. Down there in the comments below, I want to know, What is your opinion? Let me know. We got Win City Raider in the house. What up? I see ya. Salute, brother. Natural Immunity in the house. Ken in the house. Um, Spam those comments right now. It's Tom Telesco versus Antonio Pierce. Who's going to win the argument for what to do in the draft? AP wants to move up and grab Jaden Daniels by all costs, all means necessary. And Tom Telesco wants to go forward with Aiden O'Connell. So spam those comments right now. AP, if you think AP is going to win that argument and we're going to trade up, or TT, if you think Tom Telesco is going to win out and we're going to roll with AOC for 2024. Start spamming those. Spam them, spam them, spam them.
I think the chat is gonna go with AP. That's my hunch. Tell us. Tell us.
Well, the first vote I'm seeing was Tom, and now we got to vote for AP. Start spamming them, guys. If you think Tom Telesco is going to win this battle, or Antonio Pierce, TT or AP, who's it going to be? We got 2 votes for TT, 3 votes for TT. Looks like 4 votes for TT, 2 votes for AP. I'm seeing a lot of TTs in here. But then Matt thinks that Minshew's going to start. I disagree, bro. I disagree. I think Minshew was a insurance policy Band-Aid. But I think if it's just Aiden O'Connell and him, if that's the only battle and we don't have a Jaden Daniels in the mix, I think Aiden O'Connell wins. Aiden O'Connell has a better arm. Minshew just runs around a lot.
Yeah, and just a little bit more experience also as well. But I know that a lot of fans out there want to go with Minshew Mania.
I mean, he'll win you some games. I think that it's really going to come down to Raiders Guru. So there's an article out that insiders say that Coach Antonio Pierce wants to move up and get the likes of maybe a Jaden Daniels. And Tom Telesco wants to stay put with what they got in Minshew and AOC and utilize the picks that we have to get, right tackle, corner, more wide receiver help, stuff like that. So that's the issue right now is between Tom Telesco and AP in the draft meeting rooms. So anybody that's just tuning in right now, that's what we've been talking about. And so it's going to come down to, who's going to win out, whose ego is bigger or whose voice is bigger, or, I don't think Tom Telesco's been doing this for quite a while. I don't think he's going to just bow down to what Antonio Pierce wants. And I don't think Antonio Pierce is going to try and bully Tom Telesco. I'm not saying that at all. But I do know that Antonio Pierce, once he has it in his mind, same thing as we were just talking about with Jack Jones, he's not going to take no for an answer. He's going to keep pushing if that's what he really believes in. And I can't go against it. If there's a chance for, the Heisman winner.
Yeah, you can go out and, get him. If you can't, then you got to let Tom's track record speak for itself, and that's why we, got him. He drafts really, really great players, and just let Tom cook.
And I think so. Natural Immunity says Jordan Travis. I agree. Like if you don't get Jaden Daniels, then you grab Jordan Travis in round 3, either him or Rattler. And so now you've got this 3. But actually, we would have 4 quarterbacks. But Anthony Brown is not going to be.
Yeah, he's
not going to be there.
Practice squad.
He'll be practice squad guy. He'll probably get picked up off the practice squad by another team, more than likely. But he's definitely not. I know people get excited about him because he was Lamar Jackson's backup, but trust me, he is not an elite quarterback at all. The only
Yeah.
reason why they brought him in, and you see they didn't keep him, they just brought him in case Lamar gets hurt. It's a similar play style, so you don't have to
Right.
change the playbook up for a non-mobile quarterback. That's the only reason why they brought him in. But you know, those mobile guys that play that style are, you know, a dime a dozen out there in the NFL now.
Hmm.
So they didn't keep him. They didn't keep him because he's not that great. So don't get too excited about Anthony Brown. Now, a guy
Yeah.
like Jordan Travis, you can get excited about because had he not broke his leg,
Oh
it
yeah.
is quite likely he would have been the national champion with FSU and probably the Heisman Trophy winner or close.
Yeah.
He probably would have got the second vote if not beating out. And he may have actually won it over Jaden Daniels because he beat Jaden Daniels in week
Yeah.
1 of the college regular season. So I think Jordan Travis in round 3 would be phenomenal for the Raiders quarterback room. Um, because again, we know what Minshew is,
Yeah.
right? He's been in the league for a few years. He's not going to be Rich Gannon 2.0. I'm sorry. I know everybody wants that. Everybody thinks that, but Rich Gannon was better than Minshew
Oh
before
yeah.
he had his second coming, right? Whereas Minshew is he's kind of, you know, at his peak in my opinion. I think he doesn't have a whole lot more to offer because he doesn't have a super strong arm. He's a little guy, as Max
Little boy.
Crosby
He's a
loved to
little
point
boy.
out. And you know, he gets himself into some post reads issues, runs into traffic sometimes, gets himself sacked, fumbles balls, stuff like that. He can make some plays. He can extend
Yeah.
some plays. He can scramble, and he's got the right attitude. He's got a Raider attitude, so you
Yeah. Yeah.
love that about him.
His ceiling is, cap, but it could go, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt just because he's playing with a great defense. So
Yeah, and I think that's something that could definitely, you know, help us to take it to that next level. Um, is just the fact that if this defense comes together, and a big question mark is going to be at corner. Now we know Jack Jones has got it locked down on his side, and you better not throw him the ball or he might pick six you.
yeah,
But what are we going to do on the other side? If we can get that corner position figured out, then that I think our defense is top three.
oh yeah,
Probably number one in several categories, but definitely overall we're a top three defense.
yeah,
We don't really have any weaknesses at all on that line now, with the addition of Christian Wilkins. If
yeah,
if Malcolm Kuntz does what he did from the beginning of the year this year as what he did in the second half of last year, oh my, we might break a record for the defensive line as a whole getting the most sacks in a season.
I wouldn't even doubt that at all, brother, because our line is just superb, man. It's just I can't wait. I just can't wait. And then I just have to go back on this. I'd rather have Jordan Travis all day than Joe Milton. No, I don't. I'm not a big fan of him.
Joe Milton the third is an interesting prospect. The my
He's an Al Davis pick for sure.
Yeah, I
He
think
has an arm.
I think that he would be a guy that if he's still available in the seventh round, I grab him.
Absolutely, that
And
would be the
then you just kind of put him on the practice squad and kind of see what you get with him.
yeah,
Um, if he's nothing, I mean, most of the guys that get drafted in the seventh
yeah,
round um, never become starters in the NFL anyway. So even Tom Telesco said that you're just hoping they meet the practice squad level.
yeah,
But a lot of seventh round picks end up being nothing, and then those guys really, you know, they bounce around from team to team, practice squad to practice squad. They don't ever really become a whole lot. But that's what I would do with him. I mean, if you're, you know, seventh round and you don't, obviously you're not grabbing a kicker or anything like that because our kicker solidified.
yeah, yeah,
Man, you grab a Joe Milton, throw him on the practice squad, and see what you got. Because with him, he is such a raw talent. He was only a starter 1 year
Yeah.
in college. So you really don't know what his I mean, this dude could be phenomenal or he could just be another Jamarcus Russell. You just don't know.
Yeah, my thing on Jordan Travis is just that injury was like a Joe Theismann like injury, man. And but I'm sure he'll come back and play his heart out. But it's just that kind of
Dak Dak
magnitude of
Prescott.
an injury.
Dak Prescott had
Yeah,
the similar.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean, from all the reports that have come out about him is that his recovery has gone way better than expected. He's supposed to be any day now doing workouts with teams, so that like he'll be ready for camp. Even he won't even have to sit out of camp. He'll be ready to go for camp. Um,
if you were the Raiders and let's say we did have him, how long like would you have him sit and rest during camp or just kind of right? Yeah,
I would not push him hard because you're not
exactly.
going to start him this year anyway, right? If you grab Jordan Travis, third or fourth round, your intention is to let him fully heal up, and then compete for starter next year.
Right.
But this year, you're rolling with AOC if that's the case, or Gardner Minshew, whoever is going to show out in camp and
Yeah.
preseason, and then you just let Jordan Travis sit because you don't. Jordan Travis, I think, is gives us a better chance of winning week one than Minshew, um, and maybe AOC. Because again,
Yeah.
I think AOC gives us a better shot at winning than Minshew does. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but just because AOC has familiarity with the team, he has timing with the receivers already. And so camp, he's just going to get better.
Absolutely.
So I think that even still, though, you would sit Jordan Travis for a year, just like Patrick Mahomes sat behind Alex Smith,
Yeah, I agree.
and let him get used to the NFL, let him get used to the playbook, and make sure that that leg is 100% ready to go for next year. And if we make a deep playoff run or whatever happens, unless Aiden O'Connell goes out there and you're like, oh my God, this dude is the new Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's the new Ben Roethlisberger. This dude is phenomenal. We just like scored on a fourth round quarterback pick with this guy. Well, even if that's the case, then you got Gardner Minshew as a guy that you can trade away and grab
Yeah.
some draft picks and then keep Jordan Travis. And now you got two stellar quarterbacks on rookie scale contracts. So you can go in even next year if you want to make some more moves in the free agency to further upgrade the team. That's how I would run it if Aiden O'Connell turns out to be the guy.
Right.
Now, if he doesn't turn out to be the guy, that's great. You don't get rid of Aiden O'Connell, but then you start Jordan Travis and see if he's the guy next year. And then again, Minshew, what do you do with him? If I think this year, let's say by week 6, we're 2-4, and Aiden O'Connell's already thrown 8 interceptions and fumbled the ball 5 times. Maybe that's when you say, all right, Aiden, we love you. Thank you for the good job. Go have a seat.
Yeah.
Minshew, please try to salvage the rest of the season so that Coach AP doesn't get fired.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you roll and see what you got with Minshew. But obviously, they don't think that Minshew is the answer because they didn't give him an answer contract. A 2-year deal is not. We have faith in you going forward as the starter of our
I
team.
agree.
So we're still looking. We are in the hunt for that long-term solution. I would love to see, personally, personally, I would love to see it be Aiden O'Connell. I would. I would love to see him just flourish and thrive because he's such a high character quality guy and he's
Right.
so smart. And he's
Yeah.
got an arm. Um, but at the
So
same time, Jaden Daniels, though, that would look really,
yeah.
really good.
So going into the draft, and let's pretend like we didn't see the report with Tom and AP about how their difference of opinions on how they want to go forward. Who do you think is the most likely quarterback that the Raiders would draft on draft day?
If it's a possibility, it's going to be Jaden Daniels. I mean, it's not a secret that he wants to be a Raider, and it's not a secret that the Raiders want him to be a Raider,
Mm,
right? And then the fact that Mark said you guys got the green light within reason to go and get him. And well, he didn't say him specifically, but he said
but
a
yeah, yeah.
quarterback. But we all know
We
who
all
the
know, yeah,
quarterback
who we talk
is,
about. Yeah.
right? I know Mitchell Rentz thinks that Drake May is the best quarterback in the draft. I highly disagree with that.
I disagree. Mitch, if you're watching,
Yeah.
no hate or no shade, but I don't
Uh,
agree to that.
I think that Drake May has a lot of holes in his game that people aren't paying attention to because, he's all in the talk of being in the top two, Caleb and then him two, and then Jaden three. I think Jaden has a much better game, better arm talent, better processing, better athleticism, just better all the way around.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't mean that Drake May is not going to be a good quarterback, but I just don't think that he's the second best. I think it right now, to be honest, in my opinion, I think Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the draft. Caleb Williams last year was the best quarterback for sure,
Yeah.
but he had a down year, and now you got to question yourself, right? Was 2022 a fluke or was 2023 a fluke? Which
Right.
one is it? Which
Yeah.
Caleb Williams are you going to get? And so for me, I think Jaden Daniels, his progression has just been going up. He hasn't had
Oh
a
yeah.
regression year.
Definitely.
Drake
Yeah.
May regressed last year. Caleb Williams regressed last year. And so for me, that's where you always got to look at it and be like, which guy are you going to get? The 2022 version or the 2023 version?
Yeah. I think Drake May is a good quarterback, but he's not. I don't have him as high up there as other people do. But he's a. I think he's good. But I think the best quarterback over the most quarterback is Penix Jr. And the ones with the highest is without a doubt Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams.
Raider Guru, my brother, says no one has ever said they want JD5 playing for the Raiders. Me and Western Conference just said it, and I've made like 5 videos about it, and so has everybody else. So what do you mean no one has ever said? Like, bro, I did a poll, Guru. I did a poll on my channel, and that poll got like 3,000 votes on it. You know who won as far as quarterbacks we should draft? JD5.
I did a whole breakdown on him too, but I kind of fell back on the whole because I don't want to beat a dead horse over and over and over. You know what I mean? So, but
Cowtown says he means within the staff. Oh, well, of course they can't come out and just say it.
oh yeah,
You know what I mean? They can't just say, "Oh yeah, we're drafting JD5," right? But look, you got to read between the lines, and it's the lines are like, they're not even thin lines; they're like this wide open of just ooh and ah over JD5. I mean,
we
you
ain't
don't
saying it, but we all know.
look. Here's the thing: you don't invite the kid into the locker room at the last game of the season if you don't have some intentions there,
Oh yeah,
right? That was a message. And then
yeah,
even on the Rush podcast, when AP was being interviewed by Max Crosby and the guys, and they mentioned JD5 being in the in the locker room for that Denver game, And you've seen Coach Antonio Pierce's little sly smirk, and he's like, "Oh, really? I didn't know that." I mean, this is just the kid that he recruited to Arizona State,
Yeah,
right? This is the kid that he said in another interview at the Combine Day when he was getting
yeah,
interviewed there. I knew he was going to be a Heisman Trophy winner. I knew he would.
yeah.
So,
And
like,
Aiden
you
knows him
can't tell
well.
me that he doesn't want Jaden Daniels, but he can't just come out and say it that
Yeah, yeah,
we want to, because that would be dumb, right?
yeah. We ain't saying it, but we all know.
Yeah,
Like, we all know.
it's like,
It's the worst kept secret.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like two teenagers that are in a relationship and they're trying to pretend they're not, and all they do is just ooh and ah over themselves all over the
Yeah.
place. This is like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, right on, get up out from underneath him, man. Like,
Yeah.
we all know it, right? So
Yeah.
that's what it is. I think so for me, I would definitely say, yeah, let's go up if the possibility is there for JD5.
Yep.
You go up and you get him. I know it's going to take multiple first round draft picks and second round draft picks and God knows what else.
But
But
do it.
again, stay tuned, because my video that is going through the editing process right now of a mind bending possibility that is going to happen on draft day should be dropping here in the next couple of days as soon as we're done editing it. It's my biggest edit video yet, so putting a lot of extra time into it. So make sure that you are subscribed. If you're not subscribed, hit that bell notification, because when that video drops, you are not going to want to miss out on that. Also, don't forget that we will be live for the entire draft, so come and join us for the draft and support us that way. Also, guys, we got 100 people in the house, but we still have not hit 100 likes. If you have not hit that like button yet, please do. Please hit that like button and help us get this stream out to more people. It really helps out the channel, and we appreciate it 100%. And got my boy Western Conference here. If you're not familiar with him, he is another Raiders content creator. He's a regular on my channel. Him and my boy Hot Beavers, who should be on next time with me. So go and show him some love too, and subscribe to his channel. He has great breakdowns. Love all the stuff he's putting out. So yeah, let's.
You
We
know,
got.
yeah, on your comment there, Raiders Mama 2489. I just want to give a shout out to your daughter, Autumn Wynn Rogers. Um, many blessings to you and your family. Many, many blessings to you and your family.
Yeah, she and her family is going through quite a bit right now. So our hearts and thoughts are out to you in the family. So and she's always here supporting the Raider D podcast and all of the Raiders creators out there. So
Salute to you,
yeah,
Red
salute
Mama.
Raider Mama. Let's see. Geomex build around AOC. If it doesn't work, you let him take the fall as McDaniel's experiment, and then you regroup. We need depth. Can't afford to give up too much for draft capital. I mean, that's a pretty strategic way of doing it, right? I think for Antonio Pierce and his job security is, hey, I was fighting for Jaden Daniels and you didn't go and get him for me, and I'm not the one who drafted Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew. So this is
Yeah,
not my fault. If it doesn't work, he can always say it's not my fault. At the end of the day, it is the coach's fault. No matter, you got to work with whatever you got, and you got to make it work somehow, some way. But
yeah.
I think that I think Aiden O'Connell will be fine. If you
Exactly.
get the Aiden O'Connell of the Los Angeles Chargers second game, if you can get that Aiden O'Connell consistently, we win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and then a lot of people don't know that AOC stayed an extra year, in college. If he would have came out sooner, he would have been a much higher draft pick. But he is highly competitive, and I don't think he'll like fail or fall off the face of the earth like a lot of people do think. I think he's very, very talented.
Yeah, in 2022, they had him on draft boards. If he were to come out, they had him in the first round.
Yeah, and a lot of people do not know that, and a lot of people want to bag on him, and it's just
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah, well, I mean, in the whole thing about being drafted in the fourth round, I think is nonsense anyway. So if you're going to say that, then how many quarterbacks have won Super Bowls who were not first round draft picks? I mean, Tom Brady was picked in the sixth round. He was
yeah,
never even supposed to be a starter. He
yep.
was a he was a backup quarterback, and it was just one of those situations where he ended up becoming something nobody expected. And so I think the same thing with Aiden O'Connell, that he could be a, and his game for me is much like a Ben Roethlisberger is kind of where I would put him, maybe a
Yeah,
Eli Manning, and you can win a Super Bowl with that. He's
absolutely.
I don't know if he's going to get you multiple Super Bowls, but if you got a really good defense and you can move the ball, you can win Super Bowls with a guy like him. I think everybody is hung up too much on the mobile quarterback thing now
Yeah,
because of Patrick Mahomes, right? Fun fact, it is an unofficial because it was when he was at Purdue, but Aiden O'Connell is technically faster than Patrick Mahomes
I
by
wouldn't doubt that.
by
I
one
wouldn't
tenth
doubt-
of a second.
yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
Did you know how petty Patrick Mahomes is? He asked the NFL not to use his combine time as a reference to this year's combine because it's so embarrassing. He ran a
Uh,
what was it, a 4.59 or something, like
man,
almost a 4.6, right? Like, and he was
yeah,
embarrassed about it. So obviously they did it anyway. They didn't care what he had to say about it, but I think everybody is so hung up on the mobile quarterback thing right now, just like everybody was hung up on getting the next Tom Brady. Whenever
yeah.
you have a dynasty and a quarterback who wins Super Bowl after Super Bowl,
There's
everybody
the pocket
thinks you
passes.
got to have that guy or you'll never win a Super Bowl. The problem with that is teams win Super Bowls with different styles of offense, different quarterbacks, different defenses, good defenses, bad defenses. It's football. Any given Sunday. That phrase actually means something.
Yeah,
Teams that should not win in the
win.
NFL
No,
win.
yeah. Any team could be beaten on any night of any game, man. And it's not just football either. Baseball, basketball, any given night.
Yeah, and so I think obviously if you have a dynasty, it really comes down to the defense, in my opinion. If you look at all of the dynasties, they all had good defense to dominant defense. The
Oh yeah,
Chiefs have had a top
defense wins
five defense every single one of Patrick Mahomes' Super Bowls. He had a really dominant defense. Tom Brady and the Patriots always had really good defense because Bill Belichick
yeah.
is a defensive coach, and always built around the defense. And then you had Tom Brady, who was,
Mm.
who he was, Mr. Deflategate himself.
Yep.
So how about the, and I know that you've probably seen it, but how about the interview with Tom Brady's barber?
Oh, about him
Um,
coming back.
yeah, about him coming back and him mentioning the Raiders and all of that. What do you think? What are your thoughts on that? Do you think that's a real possibility that he could do that? And would you entertain it?
I love Tom Brady, but you've seen those. So it's like the players when they don't play for like 2 weeks, for like 2 years, you know what I mean, or a year or two, their body size gets all smaller, they have no muscle, anything like that. First off, I don't think he's coming back. The owners might say yeah because it's good for like ratings and football and like all that. I wanted Tom Tom Brady when we first had Josh Daniels, but that ran his train. But as of right now, today, if Tom called me on the phone and if I was the owner, he's like, "Yo, man, I want to play for the Raiders right now." It, it I would say no, honestly. Sure, he might win, some games, but he's old man now, old man, and he should just enjoy his stock in the Raiders when he gets it, and
Yeah.
just
I mean, not only that, but he'd be giving up a $375 million contract with Fox Sports.
oh yeah, and money talks, baby.
Yeah. He definitely ain't going to make that much money playing in the NFL right now. Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. Tom Brady is an ultimate competitor. And there's, a few different reasons why I think that Tom Brady retired when he did. Number one, I think it was his wife. And
Oh yeah,
then
yeah,
now that's all blown up. So I think now he's like, man, I retired because of her, and now I'm not even with her anymore, and I want back in.
yeah,
But Father Time has taken his toll on him. The dude, I mean, no, I'm not trying to be down on him on how he looks, but he's a little bit sucked up like a crackhead.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And best way I could compare that to is like when Michael Jordan came back and played for the Wizards. He has a little stint, but it was
Yeah,
it didn't last.
yeah. I mean, he was still MJ, but he was like MJ with at 60%. Right,
Yeah.
so still fun to watch, but nowhere near dominant. And that's my issue is Tom Brady's last Super Bowl win, his last season in Tampa Bay in 2022, it was not that great. They
Yeah.
didn't win that Super Bowl because of him. They just had a
Oh
really
yeah.
great team all around him. But all of his stats were down by 20, 30%. His touchdowns were down by nearly half, as compared to the year before. And that's what my concern would be is if the Raiders did something crazy like that and put the old man in a uniform and told him go out there and win some games, you know
Man.
would he be an upgrade over Aiden O'Connell? Sure. Maybe for like 3 quarters.
Yeah. But hey, how many times can Tom Brady get tackled by Chris Jones in one game before he dies?
Yeah.
you know, like
And
man.
that's you look at the swing and the miss that the Jets took on Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah,
And 4 plays into his first regular season game, he's out for the rest of the year,
man.
and may not even come back. We're not even sure what he's doing with his crazy self.
And they invested so much in him too. They
Yeah,
invested so much. They like how you said the farm, the cat, the grandma, the cow, everybody, man.
and for me, I think that, and I got a video also on this whole subject around Tom Brady where I break that down. That one will be coming out in a couple of days too. For me though, I don't, one, as a Raiders fan, I don't want to see Tom Brady in the silver and black. I just don't. I don't want to see him as a part owner, which I know that that's probably going to happen regardless of how I feel about it. But I think that we got robbed in the AFC Championship game, or
Oh
not.
yeah,
It was
Tuck
the
rule. Yeah, yeah.
divisional game. Divisional game. Um, with the tuck rule, and then just all the humiliations that we suffered at his
Yeah.
hands every time we played the Patriots. Like I just don't like him. Um, Not him personally. I don't have any issue with him as a person, but just seeing the nameplate Brady in the silver and black out there on the field. I have to root for my team for a guy I despise as a player.
So to be honest, at one time when we had the chance to trade Derek Carr for him, and we would have gotten Brady and Gronkowski, that would have been my highest point of trying to get him during that time. But since that whole the train is gone, like all that. Yeah, I don't even want to entertain it. Like it's no, thank you.
Uh, I know Matt and other people like to bring up that Aiden O'Connell did not complete a pass in 3 quarters on Christmas. I get that. We do conveniently forget that he was also told to stop throwing the ball, and we handed the ball off like 80% of the time.
He was just doing what he was told. He
Right.
was just doing his job, and when AP and he tells you what to do, you got to do.
Now, with that being said, and this is one of my concerns with Aiden O'Connell, and he's got a good point there, is this is a huge game, right? We weren't
Yeah.
going to get in the playoffs, but this was a huge game, a must-win game. You got to beat KC. It's nationally televised. We need Aiden O'Connell of the Los Angeles Chargers second game in
Yeah.
that game. And we didn't get that from him. We also didn't get it from the rest of the team, though. So I can't put it all on Aiden O'Connell because there were some drop passes as well. So it's not like it was just all his fault. But at the same time, if you're going to be that guy, you got to have that killer instinct. And
Yeah.
you got to go into those big games and you got to look at all those opposing defense as just a bunch of little punks. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna punk you. And that's it. Because I'm better than you. I'm Kobe
Yeah.
Bryant. I'm Michael Jordan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to have that mentality, and he doesn't have that. I don't know if he can grow into that. Like
I think,
it's like you got it or you don't situation, or
yeah, maybe Christian Wilkins is trying to teach him some stuff, but yeah, man, for 4 quarters, they are your enemy. You want to dominate them. You want to knock them on their rear end, and you shake hands, when the game's over. But during those 4 quarters, when it's live ball going, you just dominate. You dominate, and you don't hold back.
yeah. And I think I would love to see him take that next step. I would. I would
Yeah.
love to see Aiden O'Connell because I love the underdog story. I love when a guy is just utterly disrespected by the media,
Yeah.
because everybody in the media is saying that Gardner Minshew is going to be the starter, that Aiden O'Connell is not good, and this and that and everything else. And I made my I remember the Peyton Manning comparison video to Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. Good video.
Aiden O'Connell blows Peyton Manning away in rookie year. When you compare them rookie year to rookie year, Aiden O'Connell's better. Now, the very next year, the Colts went 13-3. His rookie year, they went 3-13. They completely flipped it around the next year and made the playoffs. A few years later, he went Super Bowl. So we don't know if Aiden O'Connell's going to do that. With this defense, he certainly could. We could go 13-4.
Do I think that AOC is Peyton Manning? No, but can he do or does he have the same kind of talent where he can win us a Super Bowl? Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's the thing. There was a very interesting story that Tom Telesco told about Peyton Manning, who he was a part of drafting. He was one of the head scouts on Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning comes up to him. I think it was they were getting ready to play another team. And he says, hey, I need scouting report on so-and-so because I need to know something about this guy that we're going to be going up against. Not defensive lineman or something like that, right? And Tom Telesco says, oh, well, I haven't looked into that. Give me the rest of the day and I'll get that for you. So he sees him later on, a few hours later or the next morning or something, and he's got the report now. And so he runs up to Peyton Manning. He's like, okay, I got the report for you. And he's like, oh, I already did it.
Yeah.
He just went and did it himself because Tom wasn't ready. He didn't get it to him fast enough. Peyton Manning wanted that info now because he wanted to dominate that game, and he needed that information. That's the mentality of a champion.
Absolutely.
Is that Aiden O'Connell? Does he have that in him? Well, I would say what's impressive to me about Aiden O'Connell is this. The kid's from the Midwest or Chicago. I think he's from Chicago. And he was asked, how come you haven't gone back to Chicago?
He's
Why you take
practicing.
the off season?
Yeah,
And he's
coming
like,
in
no,
there every day.
I got a job to do. Right. So he's studying the plays. He's studying working out. Um, he's doing core exercises and foot drills and all of this stuff, preparing himself to be QB1. So I'm excited to see. I love the underdog story. I would love to see him come out and just be Peyton Manning. Because remember, for all of you guys that are watching who are old enough and watched football long enough, Peyton Manning was a number one draft pick. He was bashed in the media. Now, back then,
Oh,
we didn't have social media. He was just bashed in the newspapers and,
Sports Center.
Fox Sports, Sports
Yeah.
Center, ESPN, all of that stuff. They were calling him one of the biggest draft busts in the NFL history. Very next year, they go 13-3 and they're in the playoffs. And then we all know, a couple of Super Bowls, Hall of Fame guy, threw a football off of a New York skyscraper. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you see
yeah.
that
Pretty cool.
video? That was pretty cool. But yeah, and so maybe that's Aiden O'Connell at some
Yeah.
point. I would love to see it. I just don't know if that's what it's going to be. But you got Gardner Minshew there as the insurance if Aiden O'Connell falls, if he's not
Right.
able to get it done, and then draft.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab. I'll be right back. I gotta grab a tissue for my nose. I'll be right
Oh,
back.
you're good. You're good. You're good. So let's get into some of these comments, guys. Get your comments in. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and let us know. We're going to be wrapping up here in just a little bit for today's episode of the Raider D podcast. Guys, if you have not yet gotten your poster, the Max Crosby Just Win Baby, they are on sale right now. You can go and get them. And we also have the t-shirts. Now, the t-shirts are on pre-order. So if you order today, it will be about 2 weeks before they will get shipped out. So just keep that in mind that they are pre-ordered. That's why I'm not wearing one yet because I'm still waiting for them to come. But they should be here in about 2 weeks. But posters will be going out usually as soon as you order them. But if you get 2 t-shirts, you will also get a poster for half off. Just put in promo code SHIELD and you'll be able to grab that. Joe Mex, just because AOC reminds me of the dude from Footloose that can't dance doesn't mean he can't chuck the ball. Hey, but if you remember in Footloose, the sidekick, the dude who couldn't, the cowboy with the mustache who could not dance, at the end of the movie, the dude was breaking some moves. Like he got busy. So who knows, in the off season, maybe, just maybe, our boy AOC is gonna come out and bust some moves. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's that allergy season, man. Yesterday I was doing live and I'm just like draining. My eyes was burning. I didn't take my allergy meds.
I tried to hold it as best as I could.
Jack says, I'm feeling no matter what it is going to be right tackle if no trades. Yeah, I think you definitely take a right tackle if we don't trade out or trade up. And obviously, Talisi Fuaga is my favorite, but I think J.C. Latham is going to be a baller. I think Amarius Mims is going to be a baller. So I just think at that point that if Fuaga's off the board at 13, like we said earlier, you just trade back to like pick 18 to 20, grab some extra draft capital, and then pick up a J.C. Latham, Amarius Mims, and then in the second round, or you can trade back up because now you've picked up more capital by trading back. Then you can trade back up and grab Terry and Arnold, or You can wait because there's other corners besides Terry and Arnold who will be available at pick 44. So then you could grab Terry and Arnold and then maybe grab a another wide receiver as well, which we are going to need, right?
Hey, we could draft your boy Brendan Rice or Cool Hand Luke. you know,
Yeah, I think either of those guys are going to be available in the second round for sure. Um, Keon Coleman is going to be around probably in the second and third round. There's quite a few. The wide receivers in this draft's pretty deep.
yeah,
So I think we'd be good. Obviously, I would love Brian Thomas Jr.
yeah,
I would love Rome Odunze. You're not going to get Malik Neighbors. You're not going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. Those guys are going to be off the board super quick.
yeah. Dunze and all them.
But it is a possibility that at pick 13 now, if at pick 13 Brian Thomas Jr. is available and Talisi Fuaga, which one do you take?
Thomas Jr.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
Thomas Jr.
Because
Thomas Jr.
because you have to take into consideration that this dude is going to be a superstar in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that guy's going to score you points. Where as much as I love Talisi Fuaga and would love him to be a Raider, you could not pass up on a Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
Because at some point Devontae Adams is not going to be in the silver and black anymore. Whether that's traded this year, traded next year, or he finishes his career with the Raiders, and so in 3 years he's not here. You have to be thinking of the future of who is going to be your wide receiver one, and Brian Thomas Jr. gives you everything you need. He's tall, he's fast, he's got great hands, great routes, jump balls, everything. Like
Yeah.
that dude is going to be phenomenal in the NFL, in my opinion. And I think there is a possibility that he is available at pick 13 because all of the hype is around Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik
Yeah.
Neighbors, Rome Odunze. Those are the three
Yeah.
wide receivers off the board. 1, 2, 3.
So quick question. This is a little dark horse kind of question here. What if Brock Bowers falls to that 13 overall? What do you do with that, man? What do you do with Brock Bowers, there, man?
Brock the Broccoli. Oh, that's a tough one, man, because we got
Yeah.
Michael Mayer,
Yeah,
but Brock Bowers that dude's electrifying as a tight end, man. That dude should not even exist. Like like he was cooked up in a laboratory in China and the Soviet
Shipped over
Union
here.
or something. You know what I mean?
yeah,
That would be hard. That would be hard. I mean, how do you pass up on a Brock Bowers? Well, I'll tell you what you do in that situation, because we don't really need Brock Bowers at tight
Yeah.
end. We've got a big tight end group already, and we
Yeah.
got Michael Mayer is our star tight end. I think what you would do is you would draft him and then
Trade him.
immediately trade him
yeah,
for another first round draft pick and maybe a second round draft pick.
yeah.
Like you
Hey,
would do
just-
something like that.
But if we did, I mean, now I'm just throwing darts to the dartboard here. Now just imagine if we did end up keeping Brock Bowers and we had Michael Mayer on the other side. Imagine all that inside, just all that all day, dude. We open all day. You can't stop that.
Yeah, running two tight end sets
Yeah.
is that is something that Luke Getsy likes to do too. So having two dominant wide receiving type tight ends, and then both of them are also really good blockers too. I think
Yeah.
Michael Mayer's better as a blocker, but Brock he can handle his own in the block game as well. So if we're running the ball a lot, what do you do? Because you got a two tight end set, and maybe it's a run play, but maybe it's not, because both those tight ends are excellent receivers.
Yeah. Hey,
Right.
they could be better than Aaron Hernandez and Gronkowski, man.
Yeah.
That whole tandem.
So it would be a difficult one, but I think that overall, if Michael Thomas Jr. is available and Brock Bowers is available, I'm going Michael Thomas Jr.
if there was a player, so is there a player you like or you would like to draft that the Raiders don't necessarily need right now? Because I have one player who I'm very, very high on, and I'm curious if you have a player that you like, but he's not really a draft need right now.
Hmm. I would have to say probably Brock Bowers because it's not a need that we have. We got five tight ends on the roster right now, and Michael Mayer being, the star. So Brock, is not a need. He's a luxury. So I think that if somehow we've worked it out to where we got a Michael Thomas Jr. and then got Brock Bowers, I would be like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Why wouldn't you? But
yeah,
I would have to say my fantasy want would be a Brock Bowers because the dude is just going to be so phenomenal as a tight end, um, that I think that for sure it makes your offense better having him on the team.
yeah,
My only concern again would really be that I'm very worried about how thin we are at wide receiver. Again, if Devontae goes down for any amount of time,
yeah,
we don't have any starting caliber wide receivers in the wide receiver core at this moment outside of Jacoby and Trey.
yeah,
And Trey's coming off a rookie year, so I don't even know that you consider him a starter. I mean, he's a starter, but like he's not a dominant player yet. Right? He
yeah.
showed flashes in his rookie year, but not dominant. So who is your dark horse guy?
So this player is on defense. We don't really need this player, but I feel like he's going to be Cam Chancellor 2.0, and that's James Williams, who is a hurricane. This guy is 6'5". He hits hard, and he's long and lengthy and rangy and fast. And I feel like he's going to be an immediate impact. And I can see him going in the like third or fourth round. But I'm really, really high on that kid. He's going to be a stud.
Yeah, and I think like you could say the same thing like on you know some other guys out there, defensive ends, stuff like that. Um, we don't really need that,
Yeah.
but you could grab some of these guys. It's just going to give you. I think that um, there's a lot of talk right now. The edge rusher from Dallas from the Cowboys. Maybe the Raiders look at doing a trade for him because I
Oh,
guess he's
Parsons?
yeah Parsons. He's on the outs with the Cowboys right now.
Yeah.
That would be for me. That would be like a want. It's not a
Yeah,
need that we
yeah,
have because we
yeah,
already have great edge rushers and Malcolm Kuntz and obviously Max Crosby. But just adding him to the team, obviously he would be the starter over
oh yeah,
Malcolm.
definitely.
Possibly, I don't know. I mean, Malcolm did put up
I
8 sacks in the second half of
yeah,
the season.
I would trade for him in a heartbeat, and I would be willing to give up a first rounder for him, but not if we're gonna try to go after Jaden Daniels. Now, if we're gonna have to go after Jaden Daniels, then I'm sorry, Parsons. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to play there with Dallas, you know.
Yeah,
But yeah, Parsons is a beast, man, and he's
I
young.
think I don't know. Maybe you would trade Malcolm Kuntz for him, just straight up trade
I'd be down. I'd
because
definitely be down for that.
because Malcolm is on the up. He's on the up and coming, and he's a great team player and a great teammate, and doesn't cause any problems, anything like that. I think that would be something that you would just do a straight up swap. Maybe we throw in a third or a fourth round draft pick.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I'd do
Next
that.
year, not even this year, like next
Yeah,
year, right?
yeah,
But I don't know. I think that obviously Parsons is a big name,
yeah,
but Malcolm Kuntz, I believe that if Malcolm Kuntz can further that production that he ended off with, he could end up with 12 to 14 sacks, right,
yeah,
this season, and that's
yeah,
great. That's great because look, Max Crosby is one of the most famous defensive ends in the NFL, and last year was his best year at 14 and a half sacks. So
yeah,
if you got a guy on the other side who can match what Max Crosby did, then that means Max Crosby ends up with 18 sacks. this
Yeah.
year, right? Because Christian Wilkins he's gonna eat up a lot of double teams.
Oh yeah.
If you don't double team Christian Wilkins, he will eat your quarterback
Absolutely.
like for dinner, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't double team Max Crosby,
Wilkins is coming for you.
you know what I mean? It's like a lose. And then now you have all of the attention is on that side of the field. All the chips, all the double teams, everything is on that side of the field. And then you got Malcolm Kuntz on an island. If Malcolm Kuntz can further that production he had last year in the second half of the season, he's going to
Yeah.
feast.
They're gonna have to pick their poison. Do you want this pill, this pill, or this pill? You know.
Yeah.
Definitely,
And
man.
I took a lot of heat on a video. I said, the Raiders have the possibility of one of the greatest defenses in NFL history. One of my videos, couple, but like, how can you say that one of the greatest? First of all, I didn't say the greatest. I said one of the greatest. So everybody
Yeah.
that was killing me in the comments for saying I said the greatest defense, I said one of the greatest defenses in the NFL. If you look at it on paper, the only place that we're really lacking right now is corner. That's it.
Exactly. I was gonna
One
say the same
piece.
thing. Yeah.
One piece on the chessboard.
Yep.
You solidify that, and if Jacorian Bennett, takes a further step, a big leap in his progression in year 2, and you add another guy to that part, yeah, I absolutely believe that the Raiders could have one of the best defenses in the NFL. In
Absolutely.
history, because on paper, we have the most dominant defensive line right now of any other
Yeah.
team. Every other team has, like, the Chiefs have Chris Jones. Who do they have outside of that?
Yeah,
On that line?
their defense is not as good now as to what they were in the Super Bowl, and they just lost Legarius Sneed, So
Yeah.
yeah, I know there's people. Well, they got Hollywood Brown. Watch out. I don't even. Yeah, he's fast, and all that, and he's good, but I don't think he's gonna be like I don't think they're gonna be as crazy as a lot of people think.
Yeah, and so, we have Max Crosby, one of the most dominant defensive ends in the NFL. Then you have Christian Wilkins, top 3 defensive tackles in the NFL. Yeah, Malcolm Kuntz has, again, like I said, if he carries on his production that he had in the second half of last year, he's 12 to maybe even 16 sacks, which makes him one of the best defensive ends in the NFL. So now you
Mhm.
have 2 of the best defensive ends in the NFL with one of the best defensive tackles, and then you have a great supporting cast with our DTs that we brought back from last year as well.
Yeah.
And Tyree Wilson,
Oh yeah.
we're not
A lot of
out
people
on
forgot
him
about
yet,
him. Yeah.
right? This is his second year in the NFL. He's going to have a full offseason for the first time. Let's see him take that big leap forward. And you have one of the best defensive lines in the NFL with all of those pieces. And we got depth too, which is very important. A lot of people forget about this. A lot of people think that, you get 1 or 2 stars on your defensive line and you're great. 17 weeks is a long season.
Yep.
Guys pull hamstrings, they get turf toe, they get,
Those dog
concussion,
days. It's those dog days, man.
right? So you got to have depth. And the Raiders defensive line, I think, in my opinion, we have the best defensive line in the NFL because not only do we have some of the most dominant players that are starters, but we also have great depth.
Yeah.
And so if somebody does go down, we just got another guy that we can plug right in. And
Yeah.
this is what made the Patriots so good. And this is why everybody gave all the credit to Bill Belichick, is how he was able to just plug and play guys, right? Well, the reason why is because Belichick would love to trade back and grab more draft capital so that he had depth. That's
Yeah.
what made his defenses so great. If somebody went down or wasn't playing well, he had a guy to plug in. The Raiders have that right now, and we can only further that in the draft this year.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why Tom Telesco doesn't want to move up, because Tom
Yeah.
Telesco is a depth guy as well.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting to see what is going to happen
Yeah,
in
man.
the 2024 NFL draft. Appreciate everybody that has been here today. We're going to go ahead and sign off for today's episode. Well, I will be back tomorrow. And guys, make sure that you go over and check out my man, Western Conference, at his channel, Western Conference, here on YouTube. Go hit up his channel, subscribe, watch his videos, like his videos, do the same thing with mine if you do not mind, and hit those thumbs up on your way out. You know what we do when we end these episodes. Say it with me. Raiders
Just win,
just
baby.
win, baby.